Okay, I'm sharing my page and we are recording. Yeah, we are recording. Let me see. Yes, we are recording, and let me share my screen and start doing our week 9. Our week 9 of practice. Today we're gonna do project together. Okay. Welcome to practice part. We almost did a lot of things. We learned a lot of functions, and now let's practice and put them to work on a real data set. So I submit two files to you to download it. The first one is that Excel sheet that our data exists there, okay? And the other one was a PDF that explaining the attributes, what they are, how they put numbers there. So now we are data analysts, okay? We have a set of data, or someone ask us to do some analysis on that kind of data, or we have it from somewhere and we want to do analysis. The first thing which is important to know as a data analyst is the data type that you have. I mean, what kind of data you have, from where you picked up that data, okay? We can analysis that we want on any type of data set. First, we supposed to know what this means, okay? Here, I said this is a survey. This was a survey that done for, let's go and open the file that we have. When we get a data set, okay, first we look at throughout data that we have to understand what is that. The first and most important things is to understand your attributes, your data, and what they mean. Otherwise, we cannot do a good analysis on them. We may have some result, but we don't know if that result is accurate, is work well on that data set that we did or not. This is case study. This is a survey. So the way that we collect data on survey and we put it there is so different with a data set from the lab. Inside the lab, the data that we have is mostly measured data, okay? But in survey, it's not like that. The number that we put most of the time represents something else, like months, age, or like year, or the months, or here the reason of absence is. So we put it some number that is not measured one. It's just a code that I choose for a code of disease. Then I put like 1 instead some kind of disease, okay? That is not something that we could do measurement or calculation on this kind of data, okay? This is the first and most important things that we need to know. Okay, we cannot do some kind of calculation in this kind of data because it is a survey. Let's go and learn about this data set that we have. Okay, here in the PDF we have explanation of data that we have. In the first column of this Excel sheet A, we have ID. Here they said 1 individual identification, so identification is not important, okay? It can be a name, it can be ID or anything. So for our analyst is not important. Reason for absent is second column. Here they said reason for absent is actually they add 21 category of disease, okay? Firstly, this survey collected from people who were absent at work, okay? Some employees that they were absent, and they went and did some survey. They tried to understand what was the reason that they are absent, and how many hours or how many time they were absent, and they try to understand what can cause this absences, and if the other like attributes can affect this absences or not. Like they said, months of the absence. Probably they try to understand, or we need to figure it out, if months of absences, or we have more absences during a special months, probably during January is most of absences that happen or not. So we try to figure out this kind of things, okay? Here for the second, for B, second column, we have 21 categories of disease. See how they coded, how they put numbers there. So for like certain infection, they put number 1. No plasms, they put number 2, and according this is that, they put numbers for them, okay? And 7 categories more, like patient follow-up, like number 22 in column B is represent patient follow-up, okay? They got absent because they had a follow-up with doctor. Medical consultation, blood donation, laboratory, and unjustified absence. So for 26 is unjustified absent, then physiotherapy and dental consultation. Column C is months of absences. And here also, I think, I don't know, but I think the one who put that number probably for January put number 1, for like February is number 2, and that kind of thing. So I don't have more information. This is the only PDF that I have, and I think that's supposed to be like that. Months of absences. And column D, day of the week. See here, they said actually, in here, they said Monday, for Monday, they put number 2, for Tuesday, 3, for Wednesday, 4, and Thursday and Friday. Then season, probably put same thing, like 1, 2, 3, 4 for seasons. Here we have transportation expenses. Also, they asked from the absences, they asked that how much probably they pay for transportation. Then in G, we have distance from residence to work. They try to understand if they are like living far away from house. They get more absent during work, not. And then service time. Service time is per week, per day, per week. I'm not sure about this part, so they didn't put a more like explanation about the service time is per week, per day. Then we have age, workload, average per day, then hit target. What is hit target? Disciplinary failure, if they were disciplined or not. So for yes, they choose to put 1, okay, here. Like L, column L is discipline, and they choose to put 1 as yes and no as 0. Education, so for high school, they put number 1, graduate 2, postgraduate 3, master and doctoral 4, and son, if they have any kids or not. Social drinker, social smoker. See, the person who designed a survey need to take care also regarding that analysis part, okay? When a person take this survey and design is supposed to know, okay, if I put 1 as a yes, okay, to the last question, it should go like that, okay? And choose something regarding this Monday, like season and everything, how they put code there. And also, like I, as a data analyst, I need to take care. Okay, this is not measured value. This is a code. Like probably here average doesn't work because it is a code. It's not something that like temperature that measured, and now I want to like come and measure the average or something like that. See, because of this, I'm telling you that the type of data that you have is important. Then we have how many pets they have. They wanted to ask this one also, body mass index. So probably they was thinking if someone is more like fat or heavy, it can affect to be absent time in hour, absent time in hours. So absent times in hour mean how many hours they were absent or something, absent times in hours. Because we have also that 40 and that kind of things, I think they try to understand how many hours they were absent during work or something like that. Now, okay, we know this kind of things. I'm gonna put this one down. Anytime that we get lost or we didn't know about what's going on, so we can just refer to this PDF and understand what's going on. Now I'm gonna close this Excel file and let's go open out Jupyter and start do some analysis and see what we can understand and do with this data set, okay? I want to put your chat box down and I can see. Okay. Welcome to week 9, section 1, okay? First thing that we do, we need to plug in our data to our code or Python program or anything, okay? We need to use that Excel sheet. Now let's go and import or plug in that data or file to our program, okay? To doing that one, we were using read. Do you remember read function from pandas? Okay, we're gonna use that one. And for that one, we need to import pandas library, okay? Import pandas as PD to make it short. And now, when we start coding, do not forget commenting, okay? Commenting is something that really help you and your group. Anytime that you go back, you understand, okay, your code gonna get so long. Then you need to go back each line and check what you did. Sometimes you forget what you did in that line of the code, okay? Just write a comment that what you're doing, okay? Like here, I'm gonna say import data set in program, or read, importing or reading that data set, okay? Then here I'm gonna say PD from pandas library dot read, okay? Read, I'm using this read function. Read what? Read Excel file. Excel. Do you remember this one? Now we're gonna put mode. Mode was reading. You want to read. And here, inside the quotation mark, we add the name of our file. The name is absenteeism. If there is too much noise coming to you, please let me know, okay? Absentees at work, okay? Dot, let me see this one. Okay, absenteeism It is case sensitive, try to exactly be same, okay? Absentees at work, okay, dot XLS. Now let's run it. Okay, file not found error. It sometimes happen, okay? If doesn't find a file, we go and put the directory of our file, okay? Absenteeism, okay, absenteeism at work. I found it here in my computer, okay? And I'm copying the full path of my file, then coming here and just putting all the directory here. Just paste that line of the code here. Now let's run it. See? Now it pops up the data that I have, the first five rows, and the last 5 rows, okay? Here, something that commonly and mostly we use, what we do, we want to take some general information, okay? So I want to quickly have some general information out of this file that I have. We have a nice function for this one, which call it info function, okay? We're gonna use this info function. How I use info function, I say from pandas do info function of this, like this file that I have. So hold this code, okay? Hold this line, represent my file, my data, okay? I want to info from this data set. Like copy, hold this line, put it here, dot, like info function. See, now our line is so long, okay, a lot of code. And we need to keep using this line because this line is my data and I'm gonna keep using this data, okay? Therefore, here I'm gonna create a variable and put hold this line equal to a variable that make it short. I'm gonna call it my file, okay? You can choose any name that you want. I just called it my file. Okay, I call it my file. Equal to this whole line, and now instead hold this line, I'm gonna delete it and just put my file, okay? My file dot info, and inside this info function, we need to put null underline counts equal to all the time true. And that's it. Let's go and run it. I ran my code. Okay, now we see. It quickly give general information to us. Range index is 740 entries or data that enter to this Excel file from 0 to 739. And data column is 21 columns we have. Here is the name of all columns. Here is the amount of count of entries or data that we have, 740, you see. Non-null, we don't have any empty place in our data set, and all is integer data type, okay? Now this. Here we need to think and decide what to do on our data and what we try to understand, okay? Here, for example, when we look at through our data, we have reason for absence. First thing, we can think that, okay, I want to see what is the most common reason for absentee. So see, we can figure out this one. This is all data that we analyze it. So we think like that. Okay, what can be the most reason of absences? Then we have months of absences. So in which months most of people get absent or which day of the week. So we try to figure that connection or relationship. Does actually day of the week have any like connection or relationship with to being absent or season? So probably it can be a kind of disease that which is more in a kind of in a specific season, then people get more absent during that specific season. Or probably transportation. So probably the person pays more and that person maybe like more get absent during work. So we try to understand this kind of relationship. Now, first thing, reason for absence. So I want to see if which reason is most common for absences. To do this one, so I can use histogram. Histogram is something that gives count, return counts to us. And also we can do describe. Reason for absences, describe months of transportation. Okay. Here I wanted to do two kind of things. Okay, describe function. Do you remember describe function was giving that maximum, minimum value and median and that kind of things? Actually, it was look like to that box plot. Okay. I don't want to use describe function on for beginning of that columns because they're not calculated value. They're not measured value to do calculation on them. For season, they just put some code there, okay? That's not a value, or just assign a code. But for transportation expenses, so it is a value, it is an amount, or distance from residence to work. So we can do like describe function for that part, like for age, we can do that part, okay? Okay, let's go and first do like describe for this for attributes from okay from pandas we want to use describe function on this file, okay, on this file. Therefore here I come and write my file, okay, my file dot describe, okay, see describe function. Something about this describe here. I don't want to do this describe on whole of my data. I want to do it column by column. For example, I want to do this describe function on transportation expenses. So I go into my data and tell from all this data, just give me a column of transportation expenses and do this kind of things on that part of data. Do you remember how we were doing that? On pandas, actually, we learned it when we were learning that arrays. Okay, if I want to just pick up a part of my data, like column, a specific column, I call that columns, okay? My file, open close braces, then put this quotation mark, and inside the quotation mark, write the name of your column, okay? Transportation expenses. Okay, transportation expenses. and dot describe. Let's run it. Key error, transportation expenses error. Did I wrote it wrong? Transportation, yes, I'm sorry. I put an extra S at the end. Now, okay, we have our data here. So you have a PowerPoint, you have a, I don't know, file, and you pick up all this data and put it there, okay? Here from transportation expenses, now we have a general data, so which minimum expenses of the whole people, whole employees who were absent, the minimum payment for transportation was 118, and the maximum is 388, which is too much. We have an average 221, and that kind of things, okay? Like 25% paying like around this amount, like from minimum to this amount is less 25%, and then 50% and 20 from this amount through the maximum is the maximum payment that people do for transportation. Here, one of the best things to represent this data, if you want to show this data, probably it's important for you and you want to show it in like graph. The best thing is boxplot, okay? Boxplot is exactly like this describe, but describe is something that's right there, but boxplot show this kind of data in exactly in a graph. Let's create also boxplot for this column, okay? For this column. If you don't want to see this data repeatedly, just comment out your line, okay? Or like your info line. That's it. Now I want to go and create that boxplot. From plt dot we use boxplot, okay? PLT, therefore we need to import our library, matplotlib library. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. You remember? Okay. Now I have my box plot and I'm passing my data, okay? I just passed one data set, which is this one exactly. I'm still having this column. I want to pass that column to my box plot, okay? Control copy and Control V here. And also I want to show mean. Show means equal to, it was equal to something like that. So now let's run it. It may take a little time to display that data for you. Or run it again. Okay, now here I have, nice. So here I have, it show actually my average is next to my mean, actually equal. So it show the minimum and the maximum, and I have one outlier, but at least this outlier is so close to my maximum, you know. There is one person that's paying too much for transportation expenses. And the most average and common expenses, transportation expenses, is between this line, this lower line to the upper line, okay? 25% to the upper line, which is 75%, okay? This is the most common payment that people pay. And this is exactly the box that represents this describe function. Okay, visually like this one. Now I want to put like more things like title, X and Y label and that kind of things. So we go and put that kind of things, added that kind of things to our graphs. Okay, like plt dot title. Okay, so the title actually is my transportation expenses. Okay, or boxplot or something, whatever you want. Transportation expenses. Okay, something like that. This is my title. You can change also color from here, put a different color, add color here, and X label, Y label. All the graph that we create, they should have title, they should have X label and Y label, okay? Then color and other things is totally optional and depend to you. plt dot X label is X label actually is this is the data set of transportation expenses, and my box plot, I can change the title bit. Y label. I'm gonna copy paste this one and add another line, make it Y label. My Y label is count values. Okay. Here I'm gonna say transportation expenses to X label, and here I'm gonna, for title, I'm gonna change my title and put it box plot, and for Y label I'm gonna put like monthly payment $2 or something if they paid monthly. So like transportation expenses per month. Okay, probably they pay per month or dollar or something else, you can put it there. Okay, and yeah, this is all. See how it actually comes and bring up and represent your box, and then you can save this graphs, this data, okay, whatever you want, and using that save graph from plt dot save figure. I choose a name like transportation expenses, transportation expenses, okay, dot png. I want to save this graph, okay, as a png file, as a picture, okay, as a picture, and API pixel, okay, can be equal 100, the quality of my picture, and that's it. Then the run. So then when I run it, so I have this box as a picture somewhere, like not yet. Okay. Let's run it again. It can take a little time to save and create file for you. Okay, be patient a little more. No, not yet. I can find it here. Let's run it again, okay? And just wait a little bit more. .png. Now I'm gonna go and check it again. No, I couldn't find trans. Yes, why not? Okay, name is correct. Function is correct. Box title is correct. Graph. Nope, I didn't find it. Graph 2. Can we save the figure at certain path? What do you mean key with certain path?
Like we want to send in the dash like in some certain file, like but not like.
So what kind of file do you want to save it? Like PDF?
No, not the form of the file, but like the path of the file. Like I want to go to maybe my data file and then maybe the dash user, something like that, but not.
Okay, directory. You want to add a directory? So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. So where I want to, let me check my directory. Okay. If I want to, not here, so I try to like user directory, etc. Okay, I want to like find somewhere like a directory, notebooks, my cluster. No, they're my OneDrive, homework. Okay, let's do and go and do that. Let me put this one down. Okay, I'm gonna put here a directory, as you said. C colon / and what? Like that user directory. Okay, my directory. I try to add it. Let's see. / Atife and / desktop. Okay, and / so the name is graph2. I don't know if I have same name or not. Okay, I'm gonna put like graph 45, some name that I'm sure that I don't have it in my computer. Okay, now let's run it. Unicode error, code C can decode byte in position until return. Okay, it couldn't understand this / I think my / here has a problem and it couldn't recognize it. Let me delete this / file not found. File not founded. There shouldn't be a / here in directory. I think it should be. They need some save figure. Okay, let me check this one for you. Okay. In directory. Directory. Okay. Save figure. Actually, here wrote same thing that we did. figure dot save figure. Export range figure equal PLT. Okay, that's figure no. Here subdirectory figure dot save figure subdirectory. Okay, they didn't put C actually. They just put the name of that subdirectory or something. My pass, my file, say was dot pass. Okay, let me do this one then. Okay, I just gonna go. It couldn't find it actually. Probably I shouldn't do that. Okay, here I just put the name desktop, not all the directory path. Let me see if I have this graph 45 in my desktop now or not. Okay, graph. Yes, yes. See, the first mistake was the whole path that I put it. Okay, like, okay, I want to save it in C drive. No, just I think the name of or the last directory that you want to save it, just add that part and it's gonna work. Like a file, or I had just desktop. Probably this instead of desktop you can put a folder name. It's gonna do. Now I found it, this graph 45. See, on my desktop now. So, okay. Now let's see what else we gonna do it. This was only for one column. We can do same thing repeatedly for other columns, like similar things. You're welcome, Key. Similar things that we did for description or describe function. We can do same things with distance from residence to work. Okay, let's do this one. Distance from residence to work, and then compare this column, distance from residence to work, to this absentee time in hours. Okay, so I want to understand if people, like, their home is really far away from the work, do they are the people who are most like commonly absent, and their time that they are absent in work is more than others or not. So I try to understand this one and see if there is a connection between this distance with the absence time, or also with like transportation expenses with this absence time, or age. We can compare all these kind of things together. Okay, let's do same thing for distance from residence to work, or just continue with transportation. So, oh my God, we don't have that much time. Okay, I did this transportation expenses as an example. So let's continue with that one. Then you can do same things with other attributes that you think they may have like some connection. Okay, we did this part. Now, as I told you, I want to see if they have, if this transportation has any relation with this absence time in hours. See, because I didn't do this file and it's not for me, I just pick it up from somewhere, I'm not sure what they mean with absence time in hours. I just consider this column as, okay, they ask this employee, okay, how many hours you were absent? Like, I just consider it regarding that data, okay? I'm not sure if they exactly put like amount of time that they were absent or not. Okay, to compare them, we can use line plot. No, line plot, because it connect that point doesn't make sense. A scatter plot is a good thing to compare when we have a lot of data to compare two attributes. A scatter plot is good things. A line plot is for like one need to be like continuous. Okay, let's do that. Okay, from plt dot scatter. In a scatter plot, we need to pass x-axis first and then y-axis. So here I'm gonna decide which attribute to put as an x-axis. Okay, I put this transportation expenses column as x-axis, okay? So I created here, I don't want to just rewrite. I just copy paste this one, okay? I'm just copy pasting this one here. Dot feed. For y, I put this absentee time in hours, okay? I copy this one and just put it here. And that's it. And let's run it. Now I have this scatter plot. Okay, if you want to change the size, if you don't like this size or like the x-axis, we learned that x ticks and y ticks. Do you remember that x ticks and y ticks was changing that kind of things? Oh, I see what happened. You see this green dot, because we put the lines of code just next to each other, actually it put that box plot with a scatter plot in the same graph. See this little green dot here? So I'm gonna comment out this one. I'm gonna comment out, or if you want to have it all together, you can use that subplot. We had subplot. Box plot, I'm gonna comment out my box plot, okay? I don't want this box plot. Now let's run it. Now is okay, nicer. In x-axis, I have expenses that they pay for transportation. In y-axis is hour that they are absent. So I was considering if there is a relationship or not. If it would be a relationship, therefore here probably the time of absences may increase. So like, okay, the person who pay more for transportation, like here, among this higher than $300 per month, then they may are like more absent. Therefore here, I'm supposed to be like more dots, but no, it's not. And even people who pay really less money, so they are still absent, and even like they were absent for more times at work. See? So here we save this kind of graph and try to analyze it, explain it to people that need this kind of data to know, okay? Here there is not that much a special relationship among them. Something that I'm gonna show you here. See, I all the time keep using this long line of code. So I want to make it short. Therefore, I'm gonna create quickly. I'm gonna create a variable for all column that I use. Okay, just make it short. I'm gonna just put A, B, C, D inside my column. That way, it is more easier to use it. Okay. So I'm gonna come here at the beginning. Okay, I want to create variable for columns. Okay, then the first column is my file reason for absence. Okay, reason for absent, and I put this one equal A. Instead using hold this line, I just put A. This makes so easier for you. I'm gonna keep copy paste this one and do a little changes for all columns. I want to do these changes for all columns. Okay. Here I put A, B, C, D, E, G, H, L, E, P, Y. Okay, something like that. And try change attributes name. Okay, months of absences. I just copy pasted to that part of the code. Okay, here. Oops. Copy paste them here. Okay. Copy from here. Months of absences. Day of week. Copy. Season. Service time. Then service time. Then what else? Age. Workload average per day. You do this at the same time, so we need to save our file because next time we're gonna come back and start working in the same file. Okay, we need this Python file for next time too. Workload average, hit target. I don't know what they mean exactly with hit target, so I don't add hit target. Okay, I don't add hit target because I don't think so if I need it, or disciplinary failure. So I'm gonna just pick up some kind of data that I would work with them and add them here. Okay, I picked up education, son, if they have any son. I mean, we're telling son, probably they mean kids. How many kids do they have? And if they are social drinker or social smoker, okay. I will not pick up pet weight height, so I'm gonna pick up body mass index. It actually tells how like heavy that person is. Okay. Then I'm gonna add one more for the last one. I'm gonna call it X. So the last one, and the last one was this: absences time in hours. And now insert, like here, insert my file transportation, insert this transportation expenses. This one I gonna just put E, okay? Instead hold this code, I just put E, and for this part, I'm gonna just add X. Okay, that's it. This makes it so short and easier to read for me. Okay, save, Control S. Actually, let's change rename the file that we have. So I'm gonna say week 9 section 1. Okay, I rename it and I'm gonna save it. Just Control S. Press Control S. It save your file. That's it. Okay. So for next time, we're gonna come back and continue to do more like graphical analysis on this data type. And today is 4 p.m. now. Okay, if you have any question, please ask me. Otherwise, I'm gonna see you Thursday to continue on the same file.